slope and y-intercept of the graph of f were changed to make the graph of g as shown below. So this line here is g, and this line here is f. Which statement describes the changes that were made to the graph of f to make the graph of g? Well, before I read the answer choices, I do want to mention that the y-intercept of f is 3, and the y-intercept of g is -2. So I noticed that it went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. If you say, let's start at f, this line is f, so let me highlight it. The yellow is f, and the g is green. So if you look at the yellow line versus the green line, so this is f and that's g, it goes down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the y-intercept does go down. If you look at the line f, it has a negative slope. Negative slope. How do I make a number that's negative become positive? Well, multiply it by another negative. So if I multiply by another negative number, it doesn't necessarily have to be slope, just another negative number. Negative times a negative should give me a positive. Okay, with that said, let's read our answer choices. The slope was multiplied by a positive number. Well, no, the slope needs to be multiplied by a negative number. The slope was multiplied by a negative number, okay, and the y-intercept increased. Did it increase by 5? No, it decreased by 5, so that part is wrong. C, the slope was multiplied by a negative number, and the y-intercept decreased. Okay, that's a possible answer. We said the slope had to be multiplied by a negative in order to become positive. So this line that's negative became a positive line when I multiplied it by a positive. Multiplied it by a negative. And that negative times a negative gave me that positive line. And the y-intercept did go down by 5. Good job. It went down 5 units. So C could possibly be the answer. The slope was multiplied by a positive number. No, it was not. It was multiplied by a negative number, so that's not it. So the answer has to be C. Next question. Now, we did this question in class, but I do want to do it on the video again. And since we've done it in class and we've read it already, I'm going to jump right in and start working it out. I noticed that the two equations they give me show slope that did not change. So I am not going to pay attention to anything that describes negative 300 times x, meaning x is the horizontal distance. So horizontal distance, 300 is going down, so that's the slope, and that's also how much it's decreasing, okay? It's descending. So I will ignore anything that says to descend per horizontal distance. And if you notice, it says on H and J, it descends per horizontal distance. Talking about the y per x, that means H and J are incorrect. The reason being, the negative 300 didn't change. So which statement describes this change? Well, the change didn't happen here. It happened with the y-intercept. So my y-intercept was 30,000 and then changed to 30,500. That means the graph is going to start at a different starting point on the y-axis. The y-intercepts are different. So 30,000 is here. 30,500 is here. So what happened? What describes the change? Well, it's starting 500 higher. Answer is F. You have to remember, whenever the y-intercept changes, the graph is going to move up or down. In this instance, it went up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The cost of staying at a hotel can be found using the function. We've done this one in class too. 129x plus 995 is what it says right here, the cost of staying at a hotel. And so the cost of staying at a hotel is going to be what y is. The x, however, is going to be, it says it right there, x is the number of days. So $129 is the cost per day, and $9.95 is some one-time fee. Well, if I keep reading, it does say that y is the cost in dollars, and we knew that because it said the cost of staying at a hotel is found using this function. So this is the cost of the hotel, which is what it says right there, the cost in dollars. Now, this cost includes a flat fee for an internet access, which is the $9.95, meaning you pay it one time. It also means that on the y-axis, $9.95 is right below 10, so that's a y-intercept. If the fee for the internet access is not included, I'm not going to include $9.95. So my question to you is, what changes? Will the total cost just decrease by $9.95, or will each day, what I pay each day, decrease by $9.95? Meaning, instead of $129, I pay $120, or less than $120. And the answer is, the entire total just decreases by $9.95, because it didn't say anything about $129 changing. It just wants $9.95 to not be included. So the answer has to be B. You can eliminate C and D because they both say more, and these two say less. So is it per day or just all together? You're just going to take $9.95 off, and you're not going to adjust what's happening per day at all because it didn't change the $129. Which helps us to work this next one. If I am going to translate 4 units up, who changes? The y-intercept. So the answer would have to be F. If you can't do this by hand, you can of course graph it in a calculator and look to see which of these answer choices translates up. And you would look at the y-axis. So the original graph would cross here at 4. And then you would look to see which one crosses at 8. If you had to use the calculator. Now, on these next two problems, I am going to show you a shortcut. I know you can do it by hand, but we need to focus on getting to the answer, or doing it by hand and then having a way to check our answer, okay? So let's focus on what we would use to check our answer. This is X, this is X, this is Y, and this is Y. So I have 2 points. You can call this X1, Y1, X2, Y2. You can use this slope formula to find the slope, because when you find the slope, it would help you to find the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. Then after you find the slope, you can plug it into point slope and find your equation. Or you can use the following. I'm going to go to the calculator screen, and this is when you use menu 613. Control squiggly lines. I have to put my x's in first, 3 and then -1. I have to put a comma between them. Control right, -2, comma 6. Enter, and it gives me my m, which is -2, and my slope, which is 4. Excuse me, my m, which is -2, my y-intercept, which is 4, because m is slope. So that gives me y equals -2x plus 4, and I have the equation of the line. Now, if this question did not ask for the equation of the line, but it asked for the slope, what could you use? M equals what? -2, and y. All you'd have to do is menu 613, and there's m, so the answer would just be -2. But this question didn't ask for slope, it asked for the equation, so you needed both m and b. The next one says, what is the equation of the line? Right, the equation of the line. Well, we can do what we just did, but you need 2 points. So if we use these 2 points, because the points on a table are the same points that are on the graph, we can do menu 613 again. Control brackets -10, comma -4. Control brackets -8, comma -5. And I did something wrong. When that happens, start over. I'm not going to even try to figure it out. Do it again. Menu 613, take my time. Control right parentheses. negative 10, comma, negative 4. So did I plug in the x values? Did I put my comma? Yes, I did. Control right, negative 8, comma, negative 5. Check my work. Okay, press enter. And there it is. If you want to make it a fraction, hit menu 2, and it changes it into a fraction. So my slope is 1/2, my y-intercept is negative 3. The answer to this question is y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Now, if you want to do it by hand, all you have to do is find the slope. So you would do the change in y over the change in x. So negative 2 all the way to 1 would be how many steps? Well, here is 1 and here is negative 2. So 1, 2, 3 steps. So that's 3. If I'm going from 2 to 8, that's 6 steps. So the change in y over the change in x. So the slope is 1/2. Ta-da! Isn't that what we said the slope was? Yes, it is. And did you notice that the table gave the y-intercept? Because the y-intercept is when x equals 0. That's the y-intercept. So there you have it. Same thing. 1/2 x minus 3. Next problem. This question here says, what is the solution to the system below? Now, to do this question, you do need to find the equations for both tables and then figure out where they cross or if they cross. So let's do that. Menu 613, control, squiggly lines, negative 4, comma, negative 1, down, control, squiggly lines, 7, comma, 4, and enter. That gives me negative 1x plus 3. Okay, menu 613 for the second one. Negative 6, forgot my squiggly lines. Negative 6, comma, negative 1, and then negative 18, comma, negative 8. That gives me 2x minus 6. So now I have both equations, and I go to the graphing screen or the calculator screen and do menu 3 because I'm in algebra, and 2, solve the system. How do I know that? It says it right there. System. So now we put in our two equations. Negative, we have to put the y equals negative 1x plus 3. And I think I deleted something, so I'm going to start over. And I don't know what I did wrong. So menu 3, 2. There we go. I need to have those two boxes. I think I deleted something. So y equals negative 1. I'm giving you test-taking strategies because if something happens, don't spend 30 minutes trying to figure out what you did wrong. Just start over. X minus 6. Let's check our work. Bada bing, bada boom. So the solution to this question is 3, 0. That means they cross at 3, 0. That means the x value for both equations is 3. And the y values for both equations is 0. So that is an x-intercept. Does that mean much? No. This is just a solution. On this next question, it says find the value of 11. So I want to know what is 11. And I know a lot of you would probably just look for the pattern, okay? But if you know that this is a linear table, you can use menu 613. How can you decide that? You have to check to make sure that the table will give you a line when you graph it. That's one way. That's probably the easiest way for you. I could go into finding the difference in the y and the x's and going into that, but I'm just going to say graph them and make sure there's a line. I'm going to just say that. If it does give you a line and you want that equation, then do menu 613. Control squiggly lines and negative 10 comma negative 4, control squiggly lines negative 8 comma negative 5, and there it is, 1/2 x minus 3. Menu 2 makes it a fraction, so the equation for this is 1/2 x minus 3. Well, now I need the value of 11, so control doc graph, and you didn't know this, but it puts the equation in there. All you have to do is press up, and there it is. So press enter and it grabs it for you. If you don't like that, then just hit tab and type it in, 1/2 x minus 3. Now we go to the table and we get to look for 11. And we're looking for 11 in the x, and it is 2.5. So the y value, the answer to this question, is 2.5. You could have also put 11 in the x spot and said y equals 1/2 times 11 minus 3. And so if you don't know how to do that by hand, just 1 divided by 2, open parentheses, times 11, close parentheses, minus 3. Gives you 5/2. Hit Control Enter, and there's your 2.5. Same answer. Now on these two questions, it's very similar to this one, except they gave you the equation, so no need to use menu 613. All you have to do is look on the table for when x is 22. So let's do that. Control Doc, add a graph, and I am going to type 4 parentheses x minus 9, close parentheses. That's all I have to type in because the f of x is already there, and ignore the 11. That just means you've already typed in 10 other equations. Press enter, go to the table, and look for 22 where you have x. And 22 is x, so the y would be 52. So 52. That's the answer. That's why. The 22 is in the x spot. It wants to know why. This is what the table said it was in the y spot. You could have also put 22 in the x, and when you solved it, that gives you 52. You could have used that in the calculator to get the y. On this next one, the y is actually 22. So you're looking on the table for when it says 22. And then over here in the x spot would be your answer. Well, here's the deal. When we do that, do we see 22 over here? No, we do not. I see 20 and 24. So 22 is right between it. That means it's probably 14.5, which means we need to get verification. So I am going to get out of the table and go to menu 5 and then trace. And then I'm going to type in the x value, and the x value is, what's the x value? I don't know. We said 14.5, but we're not sure, so let's check it. You always type in the x value. Did it give me 22? Yes, it did. So we now know that x is 14.5. And that's how you check it. Okay, you do the same thing on this problem. It says, what is the value of x when y equals -9? So we are going to take -9 and put it in the y spot. So you can look on the table for when y is -9. Here's the catch. When we do this, the calculator will not give you an x value because it's a decimal, a fraction. So I suggest you take this, what is the value of x, and realize these are x values. So what do? Plug these x values into the x spot to see when it will give you -9. So -4 parentheses open, and then put in what you think the answer is, -2. Put that in the calculator. So I'm going to go to the calculator screen and type Control Divide, -4 divided by 5. Open parentheses, Control Divide, 35 divided by 4, -2. Press enter. And what did it give me? -9. So there it is. Now, could you do like I did on the last one and do graph trace? Yes. So let me show that, and then we'll end this video here. Control Doc, let's go to graph. And -4 divided by 5 parentheses. Oh, I don't need parentheses. I just need x. So looks like I messed it up. Let's put the equal sign back. Delete, delete, delete. I did all that wrong, didn't I? Let's just do that again. I'm rushing. -4 divided by 5, x minus 2. Press enter. Alright, look at the table. We see that on the table we will not get -9. It says -9.2. So come out of the table, go to menu 5 and 1. What do we get? Place to type in 35/4. So Control Divide. Boy, I'm tired. 35 divided by 4, and it gives me -9. Whew, there we have it. We got our negative 9. And we're done. So we know the answer is H. On the next video, you will see how to solve for y and how to plug in to find the equation that passes through that point.